Welcome back. There are medals to be decided tonight at the diving pool, both in the men's platform and the women's 3-metre springboard. In the springboard, we have 3 Aussie girls, and in this afternoon's early session, they all finished in the top 6. So, we're expecting a medal or 2 in this one. Your commentators are Michael Murphy and Steve Foley.
It's round 4 of the women's 3-metre springboard final, and we have been blessed here with some fabulous competitions, and we're in for another thriller. Erin Bulmer of Canada leads, but what was a 22-point lead has now been cut to just 6 points by the Australian Chantelle Michell. Now Jane Smith, her second last dive in the final, reverse 2.5 tuck position.
Well, all the power in the world, and in the end, too much power. You saw in the last round she did the back 2.5 somersaults in the pike position. I'm surprised to see her doing this one tuck. I know she has been training at pike, and the tuck one obviously a lot easier, and on this occasion just too easy, the legs washing way over. It's a disappointing dive.
Yeah, she looks a little dejected, and she's been going along very nicely, and it's sad, isn't it, that it was such a classy dive, but just couldn't control the rotation, and the judges then award only 5s. Now Rebecca Gilmore, her round 2 and 3 dives were very disappointing for her, but we know Rebecca Gilmore, she can dive far better than she has, and this is probably her pet dive, Mike.
Yeah, it certainly is. 2.7, it's one of her big ones, and well, that's a much better job from Rebecca Gilmore. Unfortunately, on her last dive, her knee's giving away, but they hold up very well on this time, and she gets it up nicely off the board. It's in a good distance from the board. Watch this beautiful tuck position, little bit split there. Bit of a pike out there on the end, doesn't quite get the grab, but that's a much better effort than the last couple of rounds.
Yeah, sometimes it's difficult if you're caught in a rut, but she's trying to fight her way back, and it's great to see from Rebecca. 54.27, and she will just get better from this experience. Now, Anne-Josie Dion, who also trains in Montreal, and she is not far off the pace in an inward 2.5 tuck, and she's probably got the chance to put the pressure back on the Australians and her teammates.
Yeah, she really does. Only 5 points off Loudy, Tourky, the Australian, coming into this round. 15 off the medals. So the girls still have to beat her. And that's not a bad dive. It's not really the one she needs if she's that far out of medal contention. 15 points is a fair bit to make up, and she really needs to put that one down for 8s, and I don't think she will. She might be lucky to break 50 points. She really just looked a bit scared as she came out there, like she didn't quite know where she was, misjudged the entry, and the feet went over.
Well, you could see the anger on her coach, and you can see the disappointment on her face. She can't believe she made such a silly mistake, and it could turn to be costly. Now, Loudy Tourky, wonderful young diver, represented Australia at Atlanta Olympics and did a super job, and then, of course, made the finals at the World Championship in this event. So Loudy Tourky is one of the world's top 10 divers.
And she's got a great chance here to get in front of Dion. And I don't know if she'll do it. She needs roughly, I think it's about 45 points to get back in front of the Canadian and get into at least 4th position. She might just do it with that one. But really, not a good dive for Loudy. She had the chance there. It's an easy dive for her. She got it up into a good spot, but just came out kind of unconfident on the bottom.
Well, the judging score reflecting that. She was probably hoping for mid-50s, so she'll maintain her lead over the Canadian. But this is where the danger is. The next 3 divers. Canada's Miriam Boileau has already a silver medal from the platform event, and she too has an inward 2.5 somersault tuck. And she's the one trailing Michelle by just less than a point.
It really is pressure time now for these 3 end divers. And Miriam has not responded all that well. See Michelle relatively pleased with that, her coach. She really, she's got much better entries than this. She comes off the board quite well and into a nice tuck position. Probably could have got a bit more speed, and she doesn't get her hands together on the bottom. She doesn't get that Miriam Boileau entry.
Well, I'm a little surprised. We've just seen 3 dives almost identical from 3 classy divers. Now, perhaps there is a problem trying to spot the water in this artificial light, because all girls made the same mistake.
That's right, Stephen. At the moment, the sun's just setting here in KL, and there's artificial light and just a bit of natural light, just a bit streaming through. So it's interesting lighting to try and spot the water.
Now, Michelle, this is to move into the lead. Reverse 2.5, short on the end again. Oh, great dive.
She was in all sorts of trouble. Coach Wong Tong Shang, he knows that she really was in probably the biggest trouble of her life on the end of the board. She knows it as well. as you say, Steve, this is a Houdini effort. Look at that. She's half a foot off the end. She manages to keep her cool, pump it up there in the air, picks the perfect stop to get out there and slides it right down. She's putting the pressure on Erin Bulmer. Of course, Bulmer's got a bit of a risky dive coming up, so we might see Chantelle, with a bit of luck, sneak back into the lead.
Well, look at the scores. Phenomenal performance from Chantelle Michell. 442 points, and that just may do something very, very special for Chantelle. And you have to admit, she's in the box seat. She dives ahead of Erin Bulmer, and Bulmer will be totally aware of what she needs now. It's a real mental game now, and what a dive. Reverse 2.5 pike. If Bulmer's going to get the gold medal, this has to go down.
Yep, she needs at least 6.5 to pass Chantelle. Oh, and that's a beautiful dive. Just leaving it slightly short of vertical on the end, but with such power off the board, such a smooth rhythm, she looks pretty happy, and I think she might just keep her lead. Really beautiful dive in the air there. Great pike position. That toe point just fantastic. Letting it drop just slightly short with a bit of splash, but she's a happy girl.
Well, look at the scores, and it's just a fabulous competition, and you just have to admire these ladies. There is so much pressure on, and when you're up in the board, 3 meters in the air, no one can help you. And we are having a fabulous competition. Bulmer still leads Michelle by 6 points, but they're the clear leaders. Boileau back in third, with Loudy, Tourky in fourth. A little bit of ground to make up, but perhaps still in with a medal chance.